Good morning, DCO 30 students. This is Katie Birch, your cooperative education teacher. We are on Tuesday. We're on week 2, Tuesday, February 9th, and we are talking today a little bit more about cover letters. I was hoping to go on to topic 2, but I'm thinking we're going to spend a little longer on cover letters. So a reminder, the way to reach me is through email or on my cell phone. You can also contact me through our Google Classroom. If you're not accessing Google Classroom yet, you need to get yourself online and get going so we can motor through the coursework and start collecting your work hours. All right, so we're talking today. You should have handed in a draft of your resume to me already. And some of you have, which is awesome. I would have given you feedback on some things to correct on your resume or maybe some things to add or subtract. So go and take a look at that feedback. And you should have also be at the point where you've drafted your cover letter. You may or may not have submitted it, but even if you submitted it, I might send it back to you because I think what we're going to do is go over cover letters one more time and sort of write one together, things that I would include if I was a student. And we're going to revisit it. So it'll give you a chance to go and add some things and edit before you submit for, it wouldn't be your final submission. It would actually just be temporary submission. So don't worry about marks. It's more important that you get feedback from me to make it even more awesome. All right, so we're going to talk about cover letters one more time, because I really want you to come away with a document that's helpful for you. So cover letters essentially are a step in getting yourself a job, okay? Not only is it great to have a great cover letter, having a great cover letter can actually get you the job. It's the initial impression you make on an employer. So it demonstrates lots of things, including your organization. It tells about who you are as a person, your work ethic, but it also shows your written communication skills. So formatting a really nice cover letter is super important. The task of writing a letter for each job application might seem really annoying. And honestly, I've applied for tons of jobs in my career, and it is a little annoying. But if you know what to focus on, writing a great cover letter can actually be pretty easy. So we're going to take a look at that today, and I'm going to go through, we're going to go pull up a job together, and we're going to apply for the job together. So parts of a cover letter. This is the easiest part. The date, okay? You need to put the current date. You need to put your name and address at the top. You need to put the name and address of your employer in there, and the date goes right in the middle. So I'm just going to open up a Google Doc, and we're going to format a cover letter from scratch today. And we're going to do just similar to what we did yesterday, where we're going to go and find a job description. So we're going to go to Sue Hudson Employment Center. We're going to go find a job description. Let's see. Let's look for Sue Lookout. Okay, so I'm going to actually look for a job in, well, you know what, I'm going to look for a teacher job. So I can show you what I would do, because that's what I would be applying for, and I'll show you the things that I would highlight to help get me that job. Actually, I'm not going to choose a teacher. I'm going to choose a, I'm going to go with a, where did I see that? Let's go with a case aid worker for Tikanagan. Okay, so remember, we're going to grab that job. We're going to keep it open, save it as a PDF, so I have access to it later. Perfect. We're going to go through at what the duties include, and you can even just grab and paste, because this is the important information. Okay, but we'll keep this open for now. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to apply to Human Resources at Tikanagan. So here's the address. Okay, so in our Google Doc, the first thing we do with our cover letter is we start with I would say don't make your font any smaller than 12. And you start with I always put my name, okay, and then your address. And later on, if you want to play with font, you can actually make it sort of fancy on your cover letter. You can make your name bigger if you want, just to make it look nice as your title. I always leave 3 spaces, then I put the date. Can't believe we're 2021. And then underneath, you're going to put the name of the organization that you're applying for. And this one, we're applying to Tikanagan Child and Family Services. So we put Tikanagan. And then we're going to put the address. I usually we copied it, so I'm just going to put it there and type it in the font I want it. P.O. Box 627, Sioux Lookout, Ontario. And you can put the postal code underneath here too. Depends on how much you've got to write. All right, so you have your name, you have your address. If you don't like this fancy font, let me show you a trick. If you want all your font to match, you can click on the font, click on this little paint roller. Look at that, magic. Okay, so then the next step in your cover letter is the salutation. It is really a good idea to find out the name of the person you're applying to. Okay, so try to find the name and at least the gender of the person who will be looking at your resume. Be sure to spell the name correctly. You don't want to start off on the wrong foot and spell that name wrong. Okay, use a semicolon after the salutation. But don't put "to whom it may concern" or "dear sir, madam." I would put "attention hiring manager," or I would definitely put something, but don't put "to whom it may concern." So it does usually say on the job that you're applying to. Let's see what it says here. This job description says you're applying to the hiring committee. So honestly, if I was you, I would phone Tikanagan and I would ask the name of the hiring manager. So we're going to pretend the hiring manager's name is Susan Wilkins, because it really is a good idea to come up with the name. So you're going to leave 3 spaces after the addresses, and you're going to put "Dear Ms. Susan Wilkins." That's why finding out their gender is sort of important as well at that point. Obviously, you're not going to call and ask them what their gender is, but ask for the person's formal name, and usually that will identify it. Okay? Second step in the process of your cover letter, in the first paragraph. So the purpose of the letter is to introduce you in a way that will convince the employer that you're a candidate for the position. So the first paragraph should include information on why you're writing. Never, ever, ever in your cover letter, never say "I am writing." Okay? That's a typical error. They know you're writing. It's a letter. You don't need to state it. Okay? So first, you're going to say the position you're applying for. And this is an example down here, and I gave you one yesterday. Please accept my cover letter and resume to be applied towards the receptionist position as advertised in the Sioux Star. Okay? And then you're also going to say a brief sentence that gives your highest level of education or experience working in the industry, and a statement about why you would fit the position. So this is like your opening, hook them like you got a fish in the water. You want to hook that fish and reel them in. So, "Dear Miss Susan Wilkins," let's go back to the job description. The job is case aid worker, and you want to copy that information, okay? And you also want to look at the location of where the job is listed. So, dear Miss Wilkins, please accept this resume and cover letter as my application for, and then you can put the position, case aid worker. And remember, if you get that weird font, remember you can use that tool, highlight the font that you want it to be, and then you can, there we go, case aid worker in Sioux Lookout for Tikanagan Child and Family Services. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to that job description and you're going to look at your own resume and you're going to find the things in your resume that speak specifically and most importantly to that job description. So go over to the job description and say, okay, supervising children in care, working one-on-one with children, transporting children, providing assistance with community events, and ensuring case notes and logbook completion. So let's say if you're applying for a job like this, you have a decent amount of experience working with children and in your local community. So that's a really nice highlight. So you would say, you will see that my experience working with youth and my local community as will make me an ideal candidate for this exciting position. Okay, so you can put some describing words in there. Like sometimes I'll put exciting position, sometimes I'll put highly fulfilling position, but just make sure you use sort of keywords to catch them. So what you're doing is you're connecting your experience working with youth in your local community make you an ideal candidate for this position. So you would look at your skills and the things that are applicable in your resume and you would highlight them. Probably I would highlight the most important skill you think that relates specifically to that job. Okay, so that's your first paragraph to hook them about why you would fit the position. You're not giving any details, but you're saying why you fit the position. So you might even say, you will see that my experience working with youth and my local community, combined with my excellent education, make me an ideal candidate for this position. You don't have to put exciting, but you can if you want. Okay, that's the first paragraph. Let's take a look at the middle paragraphs. The body of your cover letter can be 1 or 2 paragraphs in length. And just remember that each paragraph should have its own sort of topic or point. You'll need to describe what you have to offer the employer and show the employer why you're a good match for the job. So if you're going to say what you have to offer, you also need to give evidence, okay? Evidence is really important. So evidence as in thinking of experience that you have. I can't talk and write at the same time. Give evidence of what you have that will be applicable for that job, okay? So if you're saying that, let's take a look. The paragraph should show you've researched the organization and understand its needs. So it's really important to go to the website of the job you're applying for. And in this case, we're applying for Tikanagan. Most organizations have websites now. So we're going to go to Tikanagan Child and Family Services, and we're going to find out a little bit about them. So if we go to About, it says that they're a community-based child and family well-being agency rooted in accountable First Nations communities we serve. We are here because we want to protect our children and help our families and nurture our communities. So that is if you are going to use that as an example, that shows the employer that you went and took the time to learn about the organization. So spend time learning about the organization you're applying for. Okay? And have a look at their vision too. The answer lies within the communities. The Creator entrusted First Nations with the sacred responsibility of protecting our children and developing strong families. They need to be nurtured within families and communities. So this is a very important point that they've posted directly on their website. So you're going to take your experience, and if, for example, if you're someone who has experience in your local community, maybe you worked for the Choose Life organization. We're going to pretend that that's something you applied for, so, or that you had a job in. So my role as youth coordinator for the Choose Life organization in, let me see, where did you work? In, let's put Bearskin Lake. Taught me skills in helping young people reach their full potential through land-based learning activities that I developed. And implemented in this program. I was able to create opportunities for youth to have a positive experience in their home community. This job falls well in line with Tikanagan's values and what did I say? Vision of developing strong families and healthy communities. So you're taking information right from their site and vision of, and then you can even quote it, developing strong families and healthy communities. So you have taken your experience, okay, given an example where you developed and implemented land-based learning activities, and then you've also connected it to the job that you're applying for. This shows three things. It shows you know how your experience connects to the job that they've created, and you've also gone and you've learned about that organization. Okay, so you might want to use, remember, you don't want to make this super long. So you want to give a couple of examples. I would say in the first paragraph, give an experience example. And in the second paragraph, I would put an education example. So for example, let's say you're a co-op student. While I attended WASA distance education, I was able to participate in cooperative in DC030 cooperative education, where I was fortunate, where I learned. While I attended WASA distance education, I was able to participate in DC other cooperative education. I was able to fulfill a co-op placement in a, so what would be something that would be relevant to Tikanagan? Let's go back to that job description. So maybe you did a placement at the school in your local community, let's say. I was able to fill a co-op placement in the school in my community where I was able to supervise children. And what else was Tikanagan looking for? And plan, develop learning activities for them in the after-school program. Co-op allowed me to learn. Okay, so if you're gonna use an example, you need to give the example and then give evidence. Tell a short story about it. Okay, so I'm going to let you continue working on that, but I want you to remember why you want to apply for the job. Hook them with a statement. You'll see that my experience highlight things that are specific to the job. Paragraph 1 is an example of your experience and an example of where you've used that experience in other jobs. And if you can connect to their website, awesome, and talk about the vision of that organization. And if you would like to give a second example, so the first one would be about your experience, okay? And the second one might be about your education. But remember, each paragraph would be different because it's a different topic. You don't need to put these titles, but I'm just putting it here so you see what I was saying. Okay, and then the last paragraph, we're going to go to concluding paragraph. Thank the employer for considering your application. If you need to explain something out of the ordinary, this is where you could do it. And then you want to express your desire to meet for an interview in the near future, okay? Make it clear what happens next. How do you follow up? Will you email them in 2 weeks to ensure they receive the information? And there's an example here. I would be pleased to review my qualifications in more detail during an interview with you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me. Or I would appreciate an opportunity to discuss my experience and abilities in greater detail. I'm available for an interview at your earliest convenience, and then reiterate your phone number. So we'll pretend this paragraph is done, and we would say, thank you for your time and consideration. We can even just go back to that example. I would love to have the opportunity. Remember, it's okay to say love. I would love to have the opportunity to discuss my ability to fulfill this exciting position. Please do not hesitate. So you can put your own I'm not going to write it for you, but I just want to let you know, you want to end on a positive note, end with your contact information, and then you're going to say yours sincerely. Put your name, okay? And then at the bottom, you're going to put, if you're going to include your resume, you need to end it with ENCL. And then that just means you've enclosed your resume. Leave yourself enough space to sign. You see, you actually don't have a ton of room to do a lot of writing. So they need to be as specific, but as short and sweet as possible. And if you need to, you find you need more room on the page, go ahead and change it to a smaller font to make it a little better. So I'd really like you to spend the rest of this class focused on your resume. Review your resume, go over your cover letter one more time. I'm going to play a quick video for you. It's about 5 minutes long, just to kind of give you an idea about thinking about your cover letter. And then we're going to end the class here today, because I want you to really focus on getting a really nice draft of your cover letter done. If you've already written a cover letter for me, then no problem. I'm going to turn it back to you, because I would like you to review it and make sure that you've covered all of those points that we talked about today. And I will also share this slideshow so you have access to it as well. And that way I'll put it in Google Classroom for you. So we're going to watch a video. I'm going to share. Oops, sorry, Brandon, didn't mean to do that. I'm going to share the slideshow with you in Google Classroom, and then you can go ahead and review your cover letter. But let's take a look at the video together first, and then I'll come back and show you where you'll find that information. I'm going to start the video at 1:18 because I don't think we need to watch the whole thing.
Hello everybody, welcome to this to their organization. For example, check the sender and receive.
Okay, we're going to start right here.
Start off by listing your personal information on either the left or right side. Then include the date between double spaces, followed by the employer's name, job title, and contact information. RE followed by application and the job position. Keep it short and concise. As for the salutation, know to whom you are writing to. In this case, we write down, "Greetings, Mr. Taylor," or "Dear Mr. Taylor." In the first paragraph, you start off by expressing your interest for the job opportunity and/or company you would like to work at. If you want to express your excitement, which is definitely a good thing, you can also say, "I am keenly interested," or "I am thrilled." Furthermore, one of the best ways to get your foot in the door is by mentioning a professional connection to one of their current personnel. Other ways to grab the reader's attention is by showing that you did your research. In the second paragraph, you shortly introduce yourself, followed by your motivation for the position. Let the reader know why the company appeals to you, and show that you care. Your cover letter should be personal, and not something that can be copied and pasted to other employers. In order to personalize your cover letter, you need to do proper research on the background of the company and interests of this person. In the third paragraph, you can emphasize on your personal attributes and work experience. Key here is to not simply list them like in your resume, but to provide context. For example, if you claim to obtain communication skills, you need to back it up with some real-life experiences. Some students refer to a professional reference that they tapped from professors, coaches, or college personnel. Either way, you can highlight personal attributes with bullet points. In the last paragraph, you can express your motivation to discuss your potential contribution to, for example, their upcoming marketing campaigns. At the same time, you subtly initiate an interview. Also, inform the reader about the attachments and availability to ask any questions. At last, thank the reader for their time and consideration, and close your cover letter with "yours sincerely" or "best regards" in between white lines, followed by your name. A cover letter should be no longer than 5 paragraphs, 400 words, and fit on one page. Also, try to maintain an overall tone of voice that is confident, polite, and sincere. Alright, within just several minutes, I wrote an example that students...
Okay, so that just kind of reiterated what we were just talking about there. The importance of making sure it's clear, but also concise when you're writing your cover letter. There are some tips. So let's go over a few tips before we end this class. Cover letter tips: send the customized cover letter with each resume you send out. A cover letter can make the difference between a job interview and not. Okay, even if an employer does not request a cover letter, it's still a good idea, good practice. Okay, target your cover letter. Take the job posting and list the criteria the employer is looking for. List the experience and skills you have, and address how your skills match the job in paragraph form. Okay? Don't rehash your resume. Your resume they can read later if they need more information. Your cover letter should complement, not duplicate your resume. All right, what else? What else? Write simply and clearly. Get right to the point and write short, targeted letter. Each letter should be 1 page or less, and each paragraph 3 or 4 sentences at most, okay? Make sure, this is huge, spell check and proofread your cover letter. Then ask someone else to read it. It's hard to see mistakes sometimes when you're looking at the same document over and over again. It's easy to miss mistakes in your own writing. Get somebody to look it over for you. That's what I'm doing for you in this course. Okay, keep copies of your cover letter to track applications, but they can also be used as like a template. You can reuse some of the language, but you just don't want the cover letters to be, cover letters should be specific for each job you're applying for. Okay, do's and don'ts. Do be concise and clear. Don't go over a page. Okay? Do demonstrate confident. There is nothing wrong with being confident. Use words like certain, confident, positive. Instead of saying think, feel, and believe, be certain, be confident. You know, this is you on paper. Okay, make sure the tone of the cover letter is upbeat and enthusiastic. Show that you've taken time to research the company. Super important, okay? That you've put an effort into it. Demonstrate you meet or exceed the requirements, okay? Use several short paragraphs instead of long ones, okay? It can be really daunting to look. You're not reading a story. You need to break it short and sweet and to the point. Personalize your letter by addressing it to the appropriate contact person. Use their name and title and double check the spelling. You don't want to spell the recruiter's name wrong, for sure. And lastly, proofread your letter. Oh, we already said that, but proofread it over and over and over again a few times before you send it in for a job application. Okay, we're going to end class there. Your task is to go back to your cover letter if it's already written, and I want you to make sure those paragraphs are great and that they give evidence as well to prove what you're trying to say. If you need help, don't be shy. Reach out to me. You know how to get a hold of me, or send me a message in Google Classroom, and I'll show you how to send me a message in Google Classroom if you want to send me a private message. When you go to the course, I'm going to give you guys the ability to make an announcement, but if you click on the announcement and you choose the course, and you can send me a direct message right in Google Classroom here. So also, if you go to people and you go here, to me, you should be able to email me directly that way as well through Google Classroom. All right, have a super awesome day. I'm looking forward to reading your cover letters and giving you feedback on them and your resume. And worst case scenario, reach out to me and we can work on this together. So don't fall behind. Looking forward to reading those cover letters. Have a great day. And I guess, Tommy, you can go to music because we are done class today.